Di sini ciri khas. And today only you?
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Last time what were we doing?
We are doing geography.
Which chapter?
India's
Huh?
India's island location.
What were we doing? I think come this side, no? Because I'll show it to you on the screen. So we'll be taking a window size and location and then the next chapter physical. What are we doing? Just open that page. So just tell me recap of what we did.
So we have dealt with the size, boundaries, and we have dealt with the standard meridian of India. This
Okay. One size and location. Take it in your direction. Change the angle a little, no? Push it from there so it comes in your direction. Yeah. So just do a recap. पीछे जाना चाहिए. पहला क्या था? Entirely in the northern hemisphere, land extends between latitudes 8.4 degrees north. 8.4 means, see, this is the 0 degrees. 8.4 is over here. And 37 degrees 6 minutes north, which is here. So it's completely in the northern hemisphere. And longitude 68 degrees 7 minutes east. That means over here. Here, if you see, it is between this 40 and 80 is what? Yes. So this lies a little ahead of that. So 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degrees 25 minutes east longitude. Okay. 90 degree, 97, right? So it is somewhere around this place. Then the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degrees north, which is, it's not shown here, but it is somewhere over here, correct? Passes through the middle of India. Divides India almost into two equal parts. Then size, seventh largest country, this all we had done last time, no? In the world, area 3.28 million square kilometers. Seventh largest, how you have Russia, Canada, USA, China, Brazil, Australia, India, Argentina, Kazakhstan, Sudan. So this is seventh, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. After India, you have Argentina, Kazakhstan, and Sudan. India and the world. This also we had done no, last time. India's location on the map. Here you have the Indian Ocean. Here you have the Pacific. Here in the north you have the Arctic Ocean. The central location between East and West Asia, correct? It is centrally located. See, right at the center. This is Asia, correct? So it is centrally located. Southward extension of the Asian continent, right? Because north-south, this is a southward extension of the entire Asian continent. Trans-Indian Ocean routes connect the countries of Europe in the west and the countries of East Asia, provide a strategic central location to India. So here Indian Ocean gives you better routes to travel to other places, and for other people of other places and continents to come to India. Even for trade and all, it becomes easier. The Deccan Peninsula protruding into the Indian Ocean. Deccan Peninsula is which one? Do you know? This southern part, na, ye triangular peninsula means peninsula is a triangular piece of land which is surrounded by sea on three sides. So we now this one side, and here this side has sea. So it's a triangular piece of land. So on first side, second side, and here on the third side there is land. Then the Deccan Peninsula protruding into the Indian Ocean helps India to establish close contact with the rest of the world. Extent and standard meridian, land boundary 15,200 kilometers, means the full boundary. Coastline length 7516.6. The coast that we have, the coastline. Including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, and we have calculated this. Bounded by, this test is not over, no? This geography?
No, we are not done any test.
Not done. Bounded by young fold mountains in the northwest and northeast, that is this Himalayas. And in the northeast also you have other mountains like Jayantiya, Garo, Khasi, all those are over here. So in the north, northeast, and this side, northeast. India begins to taper and extend towards the Indian Ocean. Taper means it becomes thinner, it's tapering towards the Indian Ocean, dividing it into two seas, the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, correct? So it is dividing the Indian Ocean into Bay of Bengal in the east and Arabian Sea in the west. Time on the standard meridian of India, that is this, okay, this line here, which is 82.5 degrees east. Here this is 80, this is 84. So 82 will be somewhere over here in the center. This is a little 82.5 degrees east. Passing through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh is taken as the standard time for India. So same, if on the 0 degrees prime meridian. Okay, prime meridian would be on this side, no? Because India is to the east. So if on the prime meridian, say if it is 3 o'clock, then what would the time be? 3 p.m. Then what would the time be in India? Count 5.5 hours ahead of 3 p.m.
Okay, so it will be
4, huh?
10 o'clock, 9:30.
No, how? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. So 8:30. 8:30 p.m. Say if it was 9 a.m. at prime meridian.
So it will be 2 o'clock.
2:30.
2:30.
Since the opening, this part we have not done. Since the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, India's distance from Europe has been reduced by 7,000 kilometers. So this is the Suez Canal. Otherwise, they had to go all the way from here. So that is how much? 11,600 kilometers instead of 19,800 kilometers. So approximately 7,000 kilometers have reduced because of this shortcut. Now, India on the international highway of trade and commerce. Where is India? Here. See this? What is this? Major air CM airports. These dots. Okay, and red lines are the air routes. And while the black lines are the sea routes. So see, it is so well connected. So India's contact with the world have continued through the ages. The spices, muslin and other merchandise were taken from India to different countries. On the other hand, the influence of Greek sculpture and architectural styles of domes and minarets. Domes and minarets is like, how the Taj Mahal, the top of the Taj Mahal is, that is a dome. And minaret is the side pillars, that they have in these, those are the minarets. So minarets from West Asia can be seen in different parts. So which means how trade has been carried out from India, spices and muslin. Muslin means cloth, very fine cloth. Um, and other merchandise were taken from India outside, and also there were people coming from outside and they were giving their culture to us. So that was Greek sculpture of the minarets and the domes. Okay? So India is quite developed in that sense also. Neighbors of India. 29 states with 7 union territories. It shares its land with, you know how to remember this? Bangladesh, China, Pakistan, Nepal, Myanmar, Bhutan, Afghanistan. How will you learn all the names? Do you remember? You can see this BACHPAN, MBA. Bachpan MBA. That's an acronym. So Bachpan BA, CH China, PA Pakistan, N Nepal, M Myanmar, B Bhutan, A Afghanistan. What is it? Bangladesh, China, Pakistan, Nepal, Myanmar, Bhutan, Afghanistan. Tell without saying which one will be.
B is Bangladesh, CH is China, P is Pakistan, N is Nepal, and M is Myanmar, B is Bhutan, and A is Afghanistan.
Very good. Done. Okay, that's it for this. Just see in your textbook anything that has been missed. We can move on to the next chapter. Done, no? Okay, so next chapter is physical features of India. No? In this now the beginning part in your textbook that is not there here. So beginning part we will read from this book only. Then this is actually the main part of the chapter. Initially here they are talking about the Gondwana land and how it's separated. Then uh, about the lithospheric plates. You all know, no? You know about the tectonic plates, no? What are the tectonic plates? They are plates beneath the surface of the earth. That's why earthquakes take place. So those plates keep moving.
And to collide with each other
Oh yeah, the earthquake happens, or then it comes up to form fold mountains like the Himalayas. And okay, one more thing is why do those plates move? Do you know? Do you know why those plates move? Like now we are sitting here, but nothing is moving. So how do those plates beneath the crust move? Okay, you know about volcanoes. What comes out from a volcano? Lava. So where does it come from?
from under the earth.
Right? You have the crust, the mantle, and the core. So the mantle below the earth, it is molten. Molten means
It is in liquid metal.
semi-liquid state. It's not liquid like water.
Yes.
It's semi-liquid like say the consistency of Fevicol.
Yes.
So these plates are on top of that. Okay. So because of that, now if you take some say water and you put some pieces of paper on it, what's going to happen? It will move, no? It won't be steady. But if I've kept this phone here, it's not moving because it's got a steady base. So in the case of the lithospheric plates, below you have the molten lava. Okay, that's in semi-liquid form, so that's why those plates keep moving. Okay, read now from the
Introduction. India is made up of mountains, plains, plateaus, deserts, and islands, etc. The action and reaction of many natural forces above and below the Earth's crust for millions of years went into the formation of the present physical features of India. Some such forces are the earthquakes, the volcanic eruptions, heat of the sun, and above all the movements of the tectonic plates, etc. Types of rocks. There are different types of rocks. Some are very hard like marble, which has been used for making of the Taj Mahal, and some are very soft like soapstone, which is used in making talcum powder. The color of soil varies from one place to the other because soil is formed out of different types of rocks. Most of these variations are caused due to differences in rock formations. Formation of relief. India is a large landmass formed during different geological periods which has influenced her relief. Besides geological formations, a number of processes such as weathering, erosion, and deposition have created and modified the relief to its present form.
Okay, what is the difference between weathering and erosion?
Weathering is by the wind, the soil is.
And erosion is? Weathering is the breaking down of the rock, disintegration of the rock, breaking down. Erosion is being carried forward by wind, water, or snow. Okay, that's the difference between the two. Weathering, like the rocks are breaking and getting eroded, and in erosion, they are getting carried forward. Okay, then.
Theory of tectonic plates. The crust of the earth has been formed out of 7 major and some minor plates. Due to internal heat of the earth, the currents of the semi-molten rocks begin to move towards the crust and tear it apart, dividing into large fragments called lithospheric or tectonic plates. There are 7 such major plates, namely South America, North America, Pacific, Indo-Australian, Eurasian, African, and Antarctic. Types of plates. These tectonic plates are always in the process of moving in one direction or the other. These movements are generally classified into 3 types. Diverging plates. If these plates move away from each other, they are called diverging plates.
See in that those pictures given down, diverging, converging, correct?
Yes.
So diverging means where are the arrows going in which direction?
In the opposite.
Opposite direction. So these are diverging plates. Then
converging plates. If these plates on the other hand are pushed together, they are called the converging plates.
Opposite.
Yes. And transform plates. Converging plates sometimes neither collide with each other nor slide, but they move horizontally past each other.
So how is it?
Like it's up and down.
Like this, yes.
Such plates are called the transform plates, and boundary they make is called the transform boundary. Most volcanoes and earthquakes in the world are located at plate margins, but some do occur within the plates. Gondwana land, the oldest landmass. The peninsula part was a part of the Gondwana land. The Gondwana land included India, Australia, South Africa, and South America as one single landmass. The convectional currents split the crust into a number of pieces, thus leading to the drifting of the Indo-Australian plate. After being separated from the Gondwana land towards north, the northward drift resulted in the collision of the plate with the much larger Eurasian plate. Note, Gondwanan land is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea with Angara land in the northern part.
Does you want to speak?
If you want to achieve better results, make a great impression, and save time at work, you should get Grammarly. What's grammar?
Gondwana land. The oldest landmass, that is the peninsula part, was part of Gondwana land. The Gondwana land included India, Australia, South Africa, and South America as one single landmass. Can you believe it? The convectional current split the crust into a number of pieces, thus leading to the drifting of the Indo-Australian plate after being separated from the Gondwana land towards north. The northward drift resulted in the collision of the plate with a much larger Eurasian plate. Due to this collision, the sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geosyncline known as Himalayas were folded to form the mountain system of Western Asia and Himalaya. Gondwana land. It is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent, Pangaea.
So see how it was before? Then because of the movement of the plates, it drifted away. And this is the Angara land.
With Angara land in the northern part.
Then what?
क्लास 6 जियोग्राफी का जो चैप्टर हमने स्टार्ट किया था द अर्थ एंड द वेट, ठीक है,
What all did you read?
The theory of tectonic plates.
That tectonic plates. I had kept it on that. This plate tectonics, but this is 7 minutes later. Let us see what Moses.
The ground beneath our feet is always moving. We don't feel this often, but we can see the results of the movement almost everywhere. The Earth's crust is what moves, our planet's outer shell. It is not one piece, but instead is made of individual puzzle pieces, plates. They were all part of a continent that broke up over 200 million years ago. Since then, it hasn't stopped moving. This is called tectonics. Plates move slow, broke up over 200 million years ago.
Where's our India? This one, no? Where the first?
Since then, it hasn't stopped moving. This is called tectonics. Plates move slowly, as fast as growing fingernails. Continental plates form the land the continents are on. Plates that are covered with water are called oceanic plates.
There are continental plates and oceanic plates. They're actually plates only, the same thing. But then when it's covered by land, it's known as continental. When you have water on top of it, it's called the oceanic.
They are thinner and the rock is heavier. When continental plates collide, the folds can pile up and create huge mountain ranges up to 8 kilometers high. An oceanic plate pushes itself under a continental one. It disappears
What happened? It was like this because of the pressure.
into the Earth's hot mantle, creating an ocean trench up to 8 kilometers deep. On its way down into the mantle,
Ocean trench. Where is the ocean trench? This part that is got created. This becomes a trench. The deepest is the Mariana Trench.
the oceanic plate melts, but the liquid magma can return to the surface at another place. The volcano is born. When two oceanic plates move apart, the seam is called an ocean ridge. Magma from inside the Earth escapes here. This drives the plates further apart and makes them grow. Plates that glide past each other can get tangled up and stick. When they separate, the Earth shakes. Earthquakes show our planet is anything but a calm place.
Okay, now next is this only, no? These parts.
Formation of Himalayas, northern plains and Peninsula Plateau.
Read that part. Till you reach this. This we'll do directly from here.
Yes, it is after this only major physiographical division. Himalayas, due to the this collision of the oldest landmass sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geosynclines known as the Tethys were folded
That we saw, no, now that lava
were folded to form the mountain system of Western Asia and Himalaya. From the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains from an unstable zone. The whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very useful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast-flowing rivers. Northern plains and Peninsula Plateau. The Himalayan uplift out of the Tethys Sea and the subsidence the northern flank of the Peninsula Plateau resulted in the formation of a large basin. In due course of time, this depression gradually got filled with deposition and of sediments by the rivers flowing from the mountains in the north and the Peninsula Plateau in the south. A flat land of extensive alluvial deposits led to the formation of the northern plains of
So how the northern plains, this is the northern plains. How that was formed? First there was a depression, then it was filled with water, and then what happened? In the river left its soil, so it kept increasing and it became leveled, and that was alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is very good for growing crops. It's very fertile soil. Okay, so that led to northern plains.
The northern plates are formed of alluvial deposits. The Peninsula Plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys.
Next.
Major physiographic divisions.
हाँ बस यही है ना. हाँ तो ये इधर से ही करते हैं, you'll understand better. So major physiographic divisions कौन से हैं? Himalayan range, that is a Himalayan mountain, ये blue part. ये पूरा इधर. Then northern plains, this part. Okay, this green part. ये यहाँ से ना यह Brahmaputra river goes. Okay, so this is the northern plains. Peninsular plateau कौन सा है? ये Deccan plateau. Indian desert, here this one. Which desert is it? Thar desert. और ये क्या है? Coastal plains. यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे. Here you have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Means there are those mountains, you know, they are over here. ये जो line दिख रहा है ना, हाँ, the Ghats are not, Ghats means what mountains? They are not in the corner here. They are थोड़ा gap छोड़ के यहाँ पे. So that's why this green part that you can see, those are the coastal plains. क्योंकि यहाँ से wind आता है, तो वो rain ये side में देता है, ये side में नहीं आता है. Correct? Because the mountains are blocking the rain. Same thing happens here. When you have wind coming from this direction, it gives rain in this part. Because the mountains are blocking. Those mountains are somewhere over here. So that's the coastal plains. Islands, वो इसमें दिखाया नहीं, but here you have those छोटू Lakshadweep islands and all. So first you have the Himalayan mountains. These are geologically young and structurally fold mountains. They stretch over the northern borders of India. Northern border पे है. The loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. So they are tall and very ubad-khabad, rugged. They form an arc which covers, arc means ऐसा, this shape, which covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. So ये जो उसका distance है, that covers 2,400 kilometers. Then their width varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. You can see here it is broader. So 400 kilometers to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Then the altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. Altitudinal variation means mountains both, some are very tall, some are very short. So the difference in their heights, that is greater in the eastern half. Okay, so eastern half means this part. So this part, the altitudinal variations is more. Then there are three parallel ranges in its longitudinal axis. मतलब lengthwise देखो, तो there are three parallel ranges. ये one है, ये two है, and this is the third one. So the first one is known as the Greater Himalaya or Himadri. This one. Second is the Middle Himalaya or the Himachal. And third is the Outer Himalaya or the Shivalik. ये वाला. अभी इसको बोलते हैं आउटर है, लेकिन if you're viewing it from the opposite side, but if you're viewing it from India, it is the closest one, okay, but it's still called outer Himalaya. Okay, so which ones? The greater Himalaya, Himadri, the middle Himalaya, Himachal, and Shivalik or the outer Himalaya. अभी पहले वाला है inner. I'll do one part and then you read it. Okay, same thing from the textbook. तो वो ये हो जाएगा, it will be like a revision. Then greater or inner Himalayas or the Himadri. So inner means which one are we talking about?
The Shivalik.
Inner means we are talking about this ulta. Huh? Inner means this. Outer means this. So greater or inner Himalayas or the Himadri, northernmost range जो सबसे बाहर की तरफ है, most continuous range with loftiest peaks, altitude average 6,000 meters. Continuous range means बीच में breaks नहीं है, it's continuous. The folds of the mountains are asymmetrical in nature. Means it's not like structural like that. The core is composed of granite. Granite क्या है? We make our kitchen platforms are made like marble type. That's granite. So the core of it is composed of granite. Perennially snowbound means throughout the year it's covered with snow. Number of glaciers descend from this range means
Many big ice.
yeah, glaciers are coming down from this range. Okay. Then next is the middle one, Himachal or lesser Himalayas or middle Himalayas. So this is to the south of the Himadri. Highly compressed, altered means layers. Metamorphic rock. What are metamorphic rocks? Which are the three types of rocks?
Igneous, metamorphic, and
Sedimentary. Igneous is what made out of? Volcanoes.
Yes.
Huh? Igneous means made of fire. So that's volcanic rocks. Sedimentary is what?
Sand. The soil. It is made of those sedimentary rocks.
How are sedimentary rocks formed? It's like when layers and layers and layers come on top of the other. It will contain a lot of animal remains and maybe some dead insect you might find which had been buried years back. Years back or centuries back. So that is sedimentary. And metamorphic is what? When they change their form, when sedimentary and igneous again over a long period of time and under intense heat and pressure, they convert to rocks, that is known as metamorphic. So here what does it have? Metamorphic. Altitude 3700 to 4500 meters. Here what was the altitude? 6,000. Here what is the altitude? 3,700 to 4,000. The Pir Panjal range. See here it is. This one. The Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. Dauladhar is another important range. See here you can see Dauladhar. It is well known for its hill stations. Kashmir, Kullu. If you've gone to Kullu Manali, have you gone?
No, I have gone, but at that time there was no snow.
No snow. You missed the snow. Kashmir?
Kashmir, I have
gone. So that is where now you know that it is in the second or the middle range.
Yes.
Then third is the Shivaliks or the outer Himalayas. So which was this outermost means actually the one which is towards India, okay, towards the inside of India. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments. Unconsolidated means loosely arranged. They are not in layers. Brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges in the north. Because this is the southernmost, no? So in the north you have two other ranges of the Himalayas. So there are a lot of different types of rocks and sediments that come here, and it is left down here by the rivers. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. Alluvium means it's the same as alluvial soil. This third one. Then altitude is 900 to 1100 meters. What was the earlier one?
3,700 to
4,500. And the first one? 6,000. So it's tall, then here it gets a little shorter, and here it is shorter. The longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. Dehradun, Kotlidun, Patlidun are some of the well-known dunes. Dehradun you must have gone. Dehradun, have you gone? Haridwar.
I had one, but that time I was very small, so I don't really
Very small, okay. So that is Dehradun because it is in the longitudinal valley. Now what is the meaning of longitudinal valley? See here, you can see these two mountain ranges.
Yes.
Here there is one outer, and here there is one more middle one. You can see this valley that is formed.
Yes.
So this is formed longitudinally, long valleys. Okay, this longitudinal going this way. Okay, so that's known as a longitudinal valley. So the longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks. Lesser Himalaya is which one? This is known as dunes. So here you have Dehradun, Kotlidun, Patlidun, and the other places. See here, distinguish. Himadri, Himachal consists of, read this.
The Himalayas consists of three parallel ranges in its longitude. Himachal, the range lying to the south of Himadri, forms the most rugged mountain system known as Himachal. Shivaliks, the outermost range of the Himalayas, is called Shivaliks. It is the most continuous range. This range is mainly composed of highly compressed rock. They extend over a width of 10.15 km,
10 to 15.
kilometer. They consist of loftiest peak with average height of 6,000 meter. The altitude varies from 3,700 to 4,500 meter. They have an altitude of 9,000 to 1,100 meter. It consists of all the prominent plateau. The average width is 50 kilometer. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated,
Unconsolidated, it should be there.
unconsolidated
Some
sediments
student only has written.
brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges. The folds of the Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. The Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. The valleys are covered with gravel and alluvium.
See here you can see, here it is, here there are plains, and here again there are mountains, here again there are mountains, and here see the maximum. Then here this is further details. So till here you read in your textbook. Read it aloud.
The Himalayas, geologically young and structurally old mountains, stretch over the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. The
Indus is where? Indus is here in the north. Brahmaputra is where? This one here. So it extends from the Indus to the Brahmaputra.
Indus to the Brahmaputra. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. They form an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. Their width varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. The Himalayas consist of three parallel ranges: the Himadri, the Himachal, and the Shivalik. The Himadri, the northernmost range, is known as the Great or Inner Himalayas or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks. The folds of Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. The core of this part of Himalayas is composed granite.
See here, video. Could you hear what it's saying?
The folds of Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature.
Correct.
The core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. It is perennially
snowbound means
it is throughout the
throughout the year.
and a number of glaciers descend from the stage. Some important peaks of Himalayas. Peak Mount Everest, country Nepal, height in meters 8,848. Kanchenjunga, India 8,598. Makalu, Nepal 8,481. Dhaulagiri, Nepal 8172. Nanga Parbat, India 8,126. Annapurna, Nepal 8,078. Nanda Devi, India 7,870. Kamet, India 7,756. Namcha, Barwa.
So many. Next.
Important passes: Zozela, Shivki-La. Important glaciers: Gangotri, Yamunotri, Pindari. Important rivers: the Ganga, Ghagara, Gondok, Kosi, Son are tributaries, Yamuna. The name of the states where highest peaks are located: Jammu, Kashmir and Uttaranchal. Himachal. The range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system and is known as Himachal or Lesser Himalaya.
So which is that? This one, second one.
The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, and the average width is of 50 kilometers. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range, the Dauladar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. These ranges consists of the famous valley of Kashmir, the Kangra and Kulu Valley in Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for its hill stations. Locations of Mussoorie, Nainital, Ranikhet from your Atlas and also Nebraska state where they are located. Place Mussoorie state Uttarakhand, Nainital Uttarakhand, Ranikhet Uttarakhand. The Shivalik or outer Himalayas. The outermost range of the Himalayas is called the Shivaliks.
Shivaliks are outer Himalayas means they are the ones that are last over here.
They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying from 9,000 and 1,100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located further north. These Himalayas are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. Division of Himalayas on the basis of location or region. Punjab Himalaya or Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya. The part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj have been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya, but it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east.
See this. That is next one. Huh? Okay. So Punjab Himalayas, Himalayan mountains based on the rivers. Okay. So Punjab River, read what you read. I think we'll do like that. We can do simultaneously, no? So you will also like.
The part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya, but it is
So see this? Indus and Satluj. So that part of the Himalayas which lie between this is known as Punjab Himalaya. But it is, we're reading, but it is also.
But it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. Kumaon Himalaya. The part of the Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers is known as Kumaon Himalayas.
See this? Between Satluj and Kali. So between these two it's known as Kumaon Himalayas. Then
Nepal Himalaya. The Kali and Tista rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas.
So Kali and Tista demarcate the Nepal Himalayas. Then
Assam Himalaya. The part lying between Tista and Dihang river is known as Assam Himalayas.
So between Tista and Dihang is Assam Himalayas. Okay. So you have which are your rivers? Indus, Satluj, Kali, Tista and Dihang. Between Indus and Satluj is Punjab. Satluj to Kali, Kumaon. Kali to Tista, Nepal Himalaya. Tista to Dihang, Assam Himalayas.
There is one more, Purvanchal Himalaya. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundaries of the Himalayas.
See here, the Purvanchal. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. This is the Brahmaputra. Okay. Beyond Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply. Here you can see, it's bending sharply to the south and form the eastern boundary. Like it's going here, towards the east. Okay. Continue what you were reading.
Beyond the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. They are known as the Purvanchal of the eastern hills and mountains. These hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones, which are sedimentary rocks covered with dense forests. They mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. The Purvanchal comprises the Patkai Hills, the Naga Hills, Luzai Hills, Manipur Hills, and the Mizo Hills.
So see, what is it called? The mountain range running along the Brahmaputra is known as the Purvanchal. Purva means east, no?
Yes.
So it's known as Purvanchal. That includes this Great Himalaya. Then it includes the Patkai Hill that is here, Naga Hills, Mizo Hills. And here you have the three hills, Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. See here you can see the Brahmaputra river. Here you can see the Tista river, Kosi, Ganga, Gandak. Here Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga. These are all again smaller hills. Dihang river. We did know that division. The last was Dihang. So this. So what is the eastern sea here? These hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones, which are sedimentary rocks. Covered with dense forests, they mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. The Purvanchal consists of Patkai Hills. Patkai kahan pe? Yahan pe. The Naga Hills, there are the Naga Hills, here it is. And the Manipur Hills and the Mizo Hills. Manipur Hill is not given, it should be somewhere here. and the knee zone is that is over here. And these three are not mentioned, but they are also a part of it. Garo, Khasi, Jain. Hmm? Next is
Northern plains. The northern plain have been formed by the interplay of the three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. Each plain is formed of alluvial soil. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometers, the plain being about 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad, is a densely populated physiographic division. With a rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate, it is agriculturally a very productive part of India. The rivers coming from northern mountains are involved in the depositional work. In the lower course, due to gentle slope, the velocity of the river decreases, which results in the formation of riverine islands.
those are these two, right? That we'll do next.
The rivers in the lower course split into numerous channels.
Wait. That we will do. This part we'll finish first, so I can then scroll. So, northern plains formed by the interplay of the major three river systems, Indus, Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. What is its length? How long is it here? See this green part that you can see, Indo-Gangetic plain. Those are the northern plains here, this green part. Length is how much? 2,400 kilometers. Breadth is 240 to 320. Some places it is broader. Densely populated by? Because firstly these are plains. So where there are plains, it's easy for people to live. And secondly, it has got alluvial soil. Say they do agriculture also. So agriculturally very productive region of India. Why?
Because many people are farmers and
Farmers. So you have all alluvial soil here. Why do you have a lot of alluvial soil? Is because you have mountains here.
yes.
So then they bring down a lot of silt, which is good fertile soil. So that's why here you have a lot of alluvial soil. So people live, they do agriculture. Punjab and all these places. See, all these parts of Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, parts of Meghalaya, West Bengal, parts of Jharkhand. So all these come under the this northern plains. Rich cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate. Yes, the climate is also good here. You have soil also, and you have water supply also. So that's why more people live here. Now read this. You are reading, no? The rivers coming from the northern mountains.
The rivers in the lower course split into numerous channels due to the deposition of silt. These channels are known as distributaries. Majuli in the Brahmaputra River is the largest inhabited riverine island in the world. The northern plain is broadly divided into three.
Wait, that now we not now. So this is that northern plains. The rivers coming from the mountains bring a huge amount of eroded soil. Correct? Eroded means broken down soil, which help in the depositional work. So in the higher parts of the mountain, it is more steep. But in the lower course, due to the gentle slope, here you can see the water is not flowing much. The velocity of the river decreases. Velocity means its speed. It decreases, which results in the formation of riverine islands. Like you can see, there are parts here where there is no water. So that all slowly leads to the formation of a riverine island. You can see over here in the middle of the river, there is an island. So an island formed by a river is a riverine island. Also, in lower course, the river split into numerous channels due to the deposition of silt known as distributaries. Like here, how you can see it seems to be dividing, no? So if you have little more land which has accumulated or soil, again it's going to divide. So gradually it will divide. Now here, this image here that you can see, this is telling you about the difference between a distributary and a tributary. Because here we spoke about distributaries, so you should know what is a distributary. So what is a distributary is when a river is dividing into smaller rivers. It is distributing its water. And tributary means what? Other way around. When smaller rivers tribute, they combine, they add water and join a bigger. Okay? Normally when children talk about tributary, they feel branching out. But it is not branching out, it's actually branching in. And distributary is branching out. So when you distribute, say it's your birthday, you're distributing something. So you're giving, right? So that is what a distributary is. Clear? Okay. This doab comes later. Now next I think you have this, no? Punjab Plains, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Right?
Peninsula Plateau.
This, where did this go? Punjab, Brahmaputra?
It is here. The Punjab.
Correct.
It forms the western part of the northern plains. Punjab plains are formed by the river Indus and its tributaries, the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Satluj and the Bees. This section of the plain is dominated by the Doabs.
See, Punjab plains. So how are the northern plains divided? Punjab plains, one. This part, Punjab mein jo aata hai. Ganga plains, second. And third is Brahmaputra plains. So now we talk about the Punjab plains. The western part of northern plains. Western part, no, north. This is the eastern part. This is the western part. Correct? Formed by the Indus and its tributaries, because in this side you have the Indus flowing. The Indus and its tributaries, the Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj, originate in the Himalayas. They are all coming from the Himalayas. This region is this section of the plain is dominated by doabs. What are doabs? Do. Do means two, and ab means water. Land between two rivers. Like here you can see there is one river here, one river here, and in the middle there is land. So what is doab? Do rivers ke beech mein, ab. Ab is water. Similarly, Punjab. Panch means panch. Punjab is also made up of two words, panch, which means five, and ab, which means water. That is Beas and Satluj. Read now.
The Ganga plains. It forms the largest lowland terrain by the Ganga tributaries. The Yamuna is the most important tributary of the Ganga. The Ghagra, the Ganga, the Kosi, the Chambal and the Betwa. The tributaries of Yamuna as well as the Sun and Damodar rise in the hills on the edge of Tectonic Plateau. The Brahmaputra plain is also known as Brahmaputra Valley or Assam plain, as most of its area is in Assam. The Brahmaputra is braided river as it carries a heavy load of sediment. The sediment that the river deposits in the valley of Assam makes the region fertile. It turns southwest and enters Bangladesh. The delta formed by the river merges with that of the Ganga before entering the Bay of Bengal. Depending upon the nature of relief and soil structure, the following geographical features of northern plains can be noticed.
This no, you are reading?
Yes.
Babur and all this. This one we have to do. So division Brahmaputra plain. That was which? This third one. So to the east of the Ganga plain, this one was the Ganga plain. Which plain was this?
The Punjab.
So this is the Ganga plain and this is the Brahmaputra plain. So this is to the east of the Ganga plain.
Yes.
Here you can see this arrow. गंगा प्लेन कौन सा था? घाघरा से लेके तीस्ता तक, near to here. So after Teesta is the Brahmaputra plain. To the east of the Ganga plain, it covers most of Assam and states of the northeast, drained by the Brahmaputra river. Here see, these are the rivers: Ghagra, Gandak. Here you have the Ganga. Here you can see the Kosi. This is the Teesta. And these are all other smaller: Dubri, Manas, Subhashi. Here this is the main Brahmaputra.
Yes.
Now this is the division of northern plains according to the variation in relief features. इसमें क्या होता है? First Himalayas, then you have the Bhabar. This is bigger, okay, bigger stones, okay, it hasn't eroded yet. And it is also sloping.
Yes.
Details now you read, then again I'll explain it to you. Terai is what? See, Terai is flat. Here you can see this image here, see this flat. See, this one you can see now, this jo thick, bigger stones wala. That is this Bhabar. And it is sloping also. Okay. Here the rivers disappear.
Yes.
Rivers disappear क्यों? मतलब पानी उड़ नहीं जाता है कहीं. But those rivers go inside the stones, so it looks like it's not there. But then when it becomes a plain flat land again, so you can see the decline, no, the inclination. Here is becoming flat at the terrain. तो वो पानी वापस appear हो जाता है. Here, this.
Yes.
This is the terrain. Okay, then you have the here you have the river valley, मतलब जहाँ से river flow हो रहा है, and Khadar and Bhangar. Khadar and Bhangar are both types of alluvial soil. Khadar is new alluvial soil, new deposits. So that's why they are nearer to the river valley. And these are here. See here you can see, Khadar and Bhangar. And Khadar is supposed to be very fertile. Bhangar also is fertile, but not so fertile. You can still grow crops with some fertilizers and all. Okay. This part you do. Read first.
The Bhabar. It is a narrow belt about 8 to 16 kilometers wide, running in east to west direction along the foot of Shivaliks where the Himalayan streams descend on the plains. These are porous and gravel-ridden plains seen only in rainy season. The porosity of the surface is so high that most of the streams sink and flow underground. The Terai. It is a marshy tract in the south of the Bhabar and running parallel to it. It is marked as re-emergence of underground streams of the Bhabar belt. The total area is ill-drained, covered with thick forests. The Terai region has now been reclaimed and turned into agricultural land. The Bhangar, the older alluvium in river beds in the form of terraces found above the floodplain level, is known as Bhangar. The Khadar, it is composed of newer alluvium and forms the floodplains along the river banks. Concord, the soil in this region contains calcareous deposits locally known as Concord. Dunes. These dunes.
Dunes we do. So this part you understood? Shivaliks are outer Himalayas. Then you have the Bhabar, that is this part. It is inclined, rivers disappear. Then they again appear in the Terai, which is flat. Then you have the river valley, Bhangar and Khadar. Yeah. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in the narrow belt of about 8 to 16 kilometers in width, lying parallel to the slopes of the Shivaliks, which is known as Bhabar. all streams disappear within the Bhabar belt. Here you can see ऐसे दिखता है कि पानी है ही नहीं. But here suddenly it all appears. Why does it appear?
Because the underground water again comes.
Yes, because here you don't have rocks, and
Yes.
second reason is that those the incline has reduced. It's becoming more like flat land. See here how it is at Terai flat. At Babar, how is it inclined? So it's still the river is flowing. Then it comes to this flat land. South of the Bhabar belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy, marshy region known as Tarai. This was a thickly forested region full of wildlife, but forests have been cleared to create agricultural land and to settle migrants from Pakistan after partition. So now all that has disappeared. They've started doing agriculture. This is distinction. Bangar and Khadar, yeah, you can see these images. This is old alluvial soil deposited several years ago. Khadar is new alluvial soil. How can you remember which is old, which is new? Might get confusing. How will you remember?
Okay, the Bhangar is the old alluvial soil that was deposited again.
But how will you correlate?
The new alluvial soil would be flooded and deposited every year.
No, how will you remember the name? You might think that, oh, Khadar old hai ki Bhangar old hai. Read this as Bhangar. भंगार क्या होता है? अपना ओल्ड सामान हम लोग दे देते हैं, right? So that way you correlate. Bhangar means old, Bhangar old, and Khadar is the new one. So Khadar, new alluvial soil which is flooded and deposited every year again, consists of calcareous concretions known as kankar stones. Consists of clay-like soil because this is new, no?
Yes.
It is not much suitable for cultivation. Not much. It's not that you cannot cultivate only. This is fertile and suitable for cultivation. Large part of the northern plains is made up of Bhangar. Small part of the below the flood level is made up of Khadar. Flood level means, suppose now this year the river has come, it was flowing till here. Then so it has deposited its silt, it's still flowing, but gradually the level reduces. So this becomes the flood plain. So here is where you would find the Khadar. Okay, फिर क्या है next?
There's dunes.
Dunes, okay, dunes was here. You read dunes? Dunes I explain, that I explained to you, no? Longitudinal valleys.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then it is Peninsula Plateau.
How much to do? You want to take it up or enough for today? Let me see. After this is what? Okay. Central and Plateau. This we can take up next. ये कर लेते हैं. मतलब Peninsular Plateau तक कर लेते हैं. So Peninsular Plateau means कितना टाइम है? 15 minutes. Peninsula and Plateau. Peninsula is what? Landmass covered by water, and plateau is table land. So this is peninsular India, this southern part. So peninsular plateau is a table land by plateau, composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, which we saw the video in the beginning. One of the distinct features of Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area known as Deccan Tract. Black soil is very good, fertile. It's good for growing cotton. This plateau consists of two divisions, Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau, Peninsula Plateau. Huh? So that is this. Central Highland is this, ऊपर का, northern part, Malwa, Bundelkhand, Baghelkhand, Chota Nagpur Plateau, Shillong. And in the Deccan Plateau you have Deccan Plateau, Karnataka Plateau, Telangana, Dandakarnya Plateau, all these. बस फिर ये सब है, ये हम लोग अगली बार करेंगे. It will become too much to do in one day. So we still have what left? Deccan Plateau, Western and Eastern Ghats, Indian Desert, coastal plains, islands. Bas. Thank you. Huh?
Yes.
Because of this, it became a little easy, no? Hopefully to understand. Chalo. Just go through, read it.
And the Peninsula Plateau.
Oh, what we did read, what part is left, no? You read the full part of what we did. Which one? 10 minutes, take a break. Done, no? We go out. I want to know. See now when I'm doing this, why these two profiles are being seen?
So you can remove them if you want.
I mean, although it's not logging in, like if I go to the this, but it's coming till here. It shouldn't come, no? See, it's not logging in. It's signed out, but then still, why that search also
If you
should
don't
come?
want it, then you can right click it and I can remove it.
Achha, so means I'll do here, right click. No, it,
Now you click it and
see. I did right click only.
if you want to sync it, then it will get synced.
No sync. But why that much also should come, no? That profile. This here you don't close them because that thing is on. I just want that Rakhi to do. Remove, no?
Delete it.
Delete it. Yeah. Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you. So now I'll have to add and then I guess. Okay, I think it's close now. Done for the day. You're in touch with those other students who have not come?
No problem, I don't have any of their numbers.
They didn't come otherwise, they don't come otherwise also.
No, they come from here, I don't know why they come to us.